our talking to the idea of our talking to you is to share our inspiration with you so that you can get to the teaching per se. So, for example, like this, generally, we have this sort of the first introductory talk was on Introduction to Vedanta by Nandana Chaitanya ji, and there was a talk by one Mrs. Surya Priya on Guru, what is the Guru's role, and then there was Shankarananda, Swami Shankarananda talking about the how it this knowledge enhances the freedom in all of us. It's very encouraging the way in which he spoke about it. And the last talk was on Jiva Jagadishwara. After all, what we have now, the people born in this culture know there's nothing other than these three, Jiva Jagadishwara. How it is all well connected. That Swamini Brahma Prakashananda talked about that. Now I am trying to get another viewpoint in the whole thing. Like, for example, see, we have generally this sort of we there are four types of people. Okay, in our in general, we can say that somebody in any subject, he doesn't know, and he doesn't know that he doesn't know. Then there is no question of his taking to any study of that particular subject, because he doesn't know, and he even doesn't know that he doesn't know. So you have to leave him alone. Let him the infrastructure of the dharma matrix in terms of live and let live will take care of him, his pursuits. He will go on like that for some time. Then there are some people who are basically good and well disposed, and they have that yathartham in life. Yathartham meaning they are happy with themselves, but they don't know what it is all about. What is it in them which makes them be comfortable with every situation in life, good or bad? So for them, there are people who know the what you call the what you call life as a wonder. That is why they are able to be comfortable with themselves, but they don't know what they know. So Shastra or any Acharya says you just have to awaken them to that what they know, what makes them feel so good about life. That's all. Just that sort of an awakening is enough for them to yeah, okay, maybe this is what helped me be very nicely disposed towards life all along. This is the tatparya, this is the principle, and then he gets interested, then he pursues, then it's a cakewalk for him. Then there are people who know that, like the Mahan, all the Mahan that have been trotting throughout Indian culture, they know that what is the secret of life and all that. And since they are comfortable with that, they know, and they know what they know, there are people who follow them. In the sense, yeah, how this person can be, he is also living like us only amongst us, but he is very comfortable with himself, very comfortable with others, very compassionate. So what is it? What? So we try to follow him. So in this, there is only one person, the four people I have explained, there's only one, the fourth person is, I don't know, and I know that I don't know. I don't know, but I know there is something missing, because I can see the Mahan and what they are talking about. There is something to be known, that what do you call that passion, or that Shraddha, what Shastra talks about as Shraddha, is there in him. It gets kindled by grace or whatever you call it, it gets kindled. That Shraddha makes him, okay, now I have to know. That is the right type of people whom the Shastra teacher or the teacher teaches. And when they teach, they get to know, because they have the Shraddha in knowing. The Shraddha, the word itself, has got Shrad means truth, Da means love and enthusiasm for the truth. So I have to know that Shraddha is there, that I have to know the truth behind this, the what you call the how the other person, how Mahan is able to be comfortable with himself and comfortable with others. That sort of a completeness I want to have. That truth he has a Shraddha in that he pursues, and that is then he is qualified. The teacher also teaches. This is how the society, the set of people, naturally, when I said four types of people, even if you take a normal average, only 25% will be in the fourth category. And in this particular subject matter, because there can be many things that I need to know, but zeroing on this particular subject matter, is something which very few people come to know, and that is what they are. That is what we are now trying to. The Swamiji's teachings and all have been in that direction, and we have been blessed with having the teachings that I will talk about it through the what you call the Prasthana Trayi, the Upanishad, the Gita, and the Brahma Sutra are all the subject matter which are talking about this subject matter, how to live a complete fulfilled life, because it talks about not x y z subject matter, it talks about you, how to make your life complete. So what they call refer to the self knowledge or atma jnanam is the main subject matter which this Prasthanatraya talk about. In that, what I am taking today is a quote, is sort of a pratigna statement from the Isavasya Upanishad. The first two, Isavasya Upanishad, I got a brief on that. It talks like if you look at it, this the Upanishad itself has got is supposed to be part of a Shukla Yajur Veda, where 40 chapters are there. The Shukla Yajur Veda, the 40 chapters. Out of that, in the Isha Veda, out of the 40 chapters, 32 chapters talk about karma, and Nalan 7 talk about upasana, that is meditation and prayer and all that. The last 40th chapter is the what do you call the Upanishad, and it has got 18 verses. This 18 verses is supposed to be called a complete number in Shastra, in Veda. Purna Sankhya it is called. Like even Bhagavad Gita has got 18 chapters, this has got 18 verses. So there are supposed to be the largest number of commentaries have been written for this Upanishad, because it has got no the like Badru Prapancha, who is also one of the great acharyas. He says this 40th chapter also talks about only karma and upasana. That sort of a stand he had taken, which Shankaracharya had what do you call refuted. So many large number of commentaries are there, and such. I won't say it is difficult, but the way in which in the every acharya, whether it is they have been very serious about whatever they have looked at, because in the life there is always this feeling that the Ishvara is always the other, it cannot be me. Whereas the Shankara Bhashya, the Advaita, the Vedanta, we don't call Advaita as a philosophy, because it is not what do you call a particular school of thought which is opposed to other school of thought. When you say a school of thought, it can be opposed to other school of thoughts. That is how philosophies and that is how logicians were working at, because what I say is correct and the others are not correct. Whereas Vedanta Shastra, when what the Advaita talks about, it embraces, it includes every, in the sense, everyone, even every Upanishad and even Gita, everyone has a certain, Swamiji always to say, Puji Swamiji used to say, all of us are philosophers. Everyone has a school of thought, even educated, uneducated. He has got a way of life by which, through which he is navigating life. So that way of life is a philosophy for him. So that we do not exclude anyone. It is Vedanta and Advaita is an all-inclusive way of looking at it, but we only say that, see, all of us, we want to be complete. Means what? We want to be one with everything. Like we don't want to be left out of anything. So this oneness and love is supposed to be a sort of, it is another word called oneness. So it is something very natural for every human being, that if only I can have a frame of mind wherein I can be happy with myself and happy with everyone else, my life is complete. So the oneness seems to be the tatparya, the principle driving a human being as compared to the other beings, because other beings, there is that species consciousness, like they are very much conscious about their species vis-a-vis the other species. Here, even though we are what do you call, by societal and by samskara and by various the way in which we were brought up, we are identified with our name and where our place in society, status, etc., over a period of time. It is more of, these are all more of a transactional value. innate. When we are all born, when we are born as a child, a human child, we have no, even for getting our name stamped on our psyche, it takes many months or many, even sometime 1 year for parents to make the child respond to a given name. And the day one he or she responds to a given name, the parents are happy. That means what? It is a name is and everything that is associated with it, the identification has been only for transactional convenience for the parents and the society per se, not to distinguish you from others, rather than it is an identity for which you don't owe it to yourself. What you owe it to yourself is this, what you are born as a child. Then you are totally at ease with every handler that comes your way. You seem, and that is why they say even in the child's face, no, you can see always a smile. It looks like it is in one with Bhagavan. So it always shows a smiling face. And everyone loves that. In the sense they empathize with the child, anyone's child for that matter. Any human child, any elder person nearby always empathizes. There is no barricade. There is no, this is not my child or something like that. Because that child, the human child, well, because human, by all this, what you can make out is, if you say human being is the height of evolution, it can be only because of this oneness with the total. That can be that can be only the height of evolution. Logically also, that can only be the height of evolution. That is precisely what is brought out by the all the acharyas, all the Upanishads, Prasthanatrayi per se. So if at all people get caught up in a philosophy which is not that this way all inclusive, it is the giving them the benefit of doubt will be only, it was time dictated. At some point in time, some group of people have to have their own belongingness towards certain acharyas so that they can stand up in the society. All those things might have been the reason. We don't want to get into the reason why a philosophy is not complete in itself, but we would like to stick to the, what do you call, the philosophy of the teaching which our acharyas and Shankara and the Prasthanatrayi and the Vedanta per se, without any what do you call, labor of interpretation. Just look at the Shastra. If you look at all the Mahavakyas, Tat Tvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, and all that, it doesn't need interpretation. It just says you are one. Your essential nature is oneness. Oneness means what? There is no second, means what? Oneness is with the total. Okay. Oneness with the total meaning, oh, how can I be one with Ishvara? That is what you have to, you can ask that question. That question is valid, but you have the Shraddha in that oneness, Shraddha for the truth, instead of being driven into it by a discontented person or by being a desperate situation. Shastra also talks about, like Mundaka Upanishad talks about Pariksha Lokan Karmachitan Nirvedamayat Brahmanaha Nastya Kritaha Kritena Tad Vijnanartham Gurumeva Vigachet. Meaning, after getting a lot of hits and knocks, living a life of dharma, being proper with everyone, still he feels time and again he gets knocked and he feels that something is amiss. I am living a proper life as per the live and let live, ahimsa, paramo dharma, the matrix of what do you call, matrix that has come along with my being, compared to an animal which doesn't it empathizes only with the fellow animal or for that species. I am able to empathize with all the beings. Like I can make out that every living being, every organism wants to sustain itself, wants to live. So as far as possible, I should not disturb others. This sort of a thing, ahimsa is our nature. Himsa is something against our nature. Because that is why even with the smallest himsa, even though it looks like we have got away from a situation, immediately it springs a sense of hurt and the guiltiness. So because it is against our nature, a himsa, even against an ant, oh, I need not have fooled around with that ant. I could have just left it as it is. It would have gone its way. Why I did this? Now, see, I just tried to push it and it died. So immediately it gives a sense of guilt to us. So that means what? Essentially, ahimsa, that oneness with all beings. We see the beingness in all the beings around us. That is something very innate to a human being. Now, this Shastra, the Upanishad also embellishes that the innate feeling of a human being. That is what we are trying to bring out. Okay, take this Upanishad per se. The first verse itself says, Isha Vasyam Idagum Sarvam It Kincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tektena Bunjitaha Magritaha Kasya Siddhanam. So, Isha Vasyam Idagum Sarvam. What it means, Isha, the Isha, the word, etymologically, it comes from the word Tat and It. It means the being. The Tat also is being. The beingness, Isha, is covers Idagum Sarvam. Idagum covers meaning it is not something the other. It engulfs, it pervades, it transcends. So all these meanings, immediately the Bhashyakara talks about in the sense Isha Vasyam. When you say it is not as the other, it is covering, it is as the oneness. The same being in me is there in everything. So there is no second thing. That way, when you say there is no second thing, automatically it gets covered. So that is what it means by Isha Vasyam. Idagum Sarvam. Idagum Sarvam means anything. Idam is a pronoun that includes our own body, mind, senses, everything, anything which talks about anything Drishyam, or anything that is in you are able to objectify, or you are able to say this. Even our own body, you are able to say this body, my mind, my emotions, my psychology, there is something wrong, say I'm getting depressed. All these things, every one of us are aware. In the sense, only that we look for solutions elsewhere. Here now, when we are exploring this, we are saying that whatever we are aware about myself is part of the idam. Like I am empathizing with the other person, whenever he gets into some trouble, if naturally we empathize with him, if we can help him, we can help him. The likewise, even our own body is something to be looked at as idam. That is why, even when you get any injury and all that, we don't immediately suppose because by chance one hand or one fingernail hurts the skin. Immediately don't cut the fingernail or cut the finger. Maybe you will prune the fingernail, but definitely you are doing it patiently with that fingernail which hurt and the skin that got hurt by the fingernail. Because we know it's all one. In the same way, all the organisms around us, innately we know there is this oneness. That is what we are talking about. The first verse of the first Upanishad, the 10 Upanishads which are being talked about, Ishakena, Kataya, like that 10 major Upanishads for which Shankara Bhashya is there. In that, the first verse and the first sentence, first word is Ishavashya. Just see the what do you call the Dayalu or the compassion, the Shastrakara, the Upanishads, thousands and millions of years ago, what they have written is relevant even today, and they have been so compassionate about it. Isha Vasyam Idagum Sarvam. Every hello? Hello? There is some what happened? This okay. So Isha Vashyam Vidagum Sarvam, when it says whatever you see, whatever you transact with, including your own body, mind, and senses, and also the all others around, and even the other beings. Sarvam, when it says, it includes Sarvam is not the Apekshika Sarvam, meaning generally we say no, Sarvam means even if one or two things left out, we don't mind. That Shastra is not like that. Sarvam, when it says, it means all, every being inclusive. Isha Vasyam Vidagum Sarvam. It's covered by this oneness, the knowledge of I, the being. You can call it Tat or you can call it I, the being. Because why I say being? When I say my body, mind, senses, everything is considered as idam, what is left is the being. Being meaning what? The awareful being, the awareful. You can't call it a person because the person is generally what do you call it, has got a name and form. A person is generally identified as name and form. So in order to avoid that, we say instead of, even though person may be Purusha, from there it might have derived with person, but it has got a connotation of this identification with body, mind, and senses, and also the Namakarana. More importantly, the Namakarana. We just get identified with the name and all that is associated with the name. So in order to avoid that, I don't use the word person, I say being. That's all. The being means isness, that I am. That need not, even the Shastra need not tell me that I am. Every one of us know. Even the other species know. They may not be able to vocalize it. They know, every organism knows it is. The isness only is what is the being in all the people, that is common. The isness is common. And that I am aware of all that idam. That aware, I am calling it awareness. So the awareful being is Isa. Isa. Isa means eat, and that etymologically eat meaning I, or that. Either way, that means that which covers everything. So Isha Vashyam Vidagum Sarvam. So, and just see the import or the purport of this first part of the first sentence is exemplified by the second part of the first sentence. How? It says, Yat kincha jagatyam jagat. Generally, even Shastra, Swamiji also used to, whenever Shastra uses the word kinchit, kinchit meaning, even Bhashyakara uses the word kinchit, then because there is no what you call commitment to that word. Anything that follows that kinchit, there's no commitment. Okay, it is there, so let it be like that sort of. So here, it kincha jagatyam jagat. Even jagatyam jagat. It doesn't say jagat. Jagatyam jagat. Jagat means every one of us know. Fortunate, whether fortunately or unfortunately, in the olden days, the Pamaras, what we call Pamaras, no, normal people were communicating in Bhasha was Sanskrit. So when you say Jagat, immediately they get the purport of it completely. Jagat means Jayati Gachati iti Jagat. Jayati Gachati means what comes and goes, what keeps on changing. That no, psychologically they had tuned to that meaning. When they say Jagat, they knew very well. It is always Jayati Gachati. But here now, because of our language barriers and we have moved to other languages, we have to explain this word. Jagat means Jayati Gachati iti Jagat. Here, not only once Jagat, it says Jagatyam Jagat, meaning so emphasis so much, whatever keeps on going all the time, going, coming and going. Kinchit, kincha, jagatyam jagat. That means the whole, the kincha jagatyam jagat, whatever transactions we do, whatever you call it, objectification or emotions or relationships or even in all, this can include all materials and all science, everything continuously changing. This part of it, nobody denies. What we always say, what is constant in life is only change. So this changing thing is what we refer to as etkincha jagatyam jagat. So the first part of the sentence is so beautiful, so glorifying. It says, I, the being, the awareful being, covers everything, including my own body, my own senses. That being so, whatever happens around, etkincha jagatyam jagat. So this, in the sense, if we are inspired, we are following the Shraddha, and we have the sense, we have, as I explained previously, either through Pariksha Lokan Karmachitan, I did my life, so many things I did, everything, Dharma life I lived. In spite of that, something is missing. That is why you come to this understanding or come to this teacher, Guru Meva Vigache, or you seen that and you have a Shraddha in that truth. The sense, you know, you want to put a finger into it. What is it all about? I am being very serious, sincere about it. So something is missing. I should know. That Shraddha in the truth drives me to this the Acharya, and he tells me, is first sentence of the first Upanishad, because the whole 39 chapters about karma upasana is what we have said. We have done all our best. We have lived a proper life. In those days, karma means only Vedic karma. Everyone, most out of the 4 varnas, 3 varnas were always doing some Vedic karma, some propitiation, generally in their normal day-to-day life. So that is why it is called Vedic Parampara or whatever. And it's why karma and upasana, which Veda talks about, is generally in terms of Veda. So, but there again, even as you do Veda, Laukika meaning you are eating, getting up, sleeping, taking care of your body, yoga, all eating the proper thing, all are part of their normal life. It is part of the Vedika life in those days. So that is not really seriously talked about, but it talks about karma and upasana. 39 chapters, karma and upasana. He has done meditation, he has been propitiating, kaikam, vachikam, manasam karma he has done with a lot of flowers, lot of naivedyam, and lot of abhishekam he has done, lot of chanting he has done. He lived a simple, good life. He has been doing dhanam and dakshina to all the gurus and all that. In spite of all this thing, there is something. That is why he has come here. Now, okay, Shastra says, the Ayushman Bhava, Isha Vasyam Idagam Sarvam. So, it is so because I, the awareful being, or the awareful being, it covers everything, and that is the truth, that is the oneness, and everything you think that is karma, dharma, transacting, etc., it's all continuously changing. It is bound to be like that. Yat kinche jagatyam jagat. So, if you are looking for some fulfillment, what is changing, whatever fulfillment you get, it will last only for 5 minutes. It is going to change because it is in its niyati, it is in its order. So it is not because something is wrong in the changing, or not because something in the changeless is not known to you. Changeless is there, changing is there. The problem is in the changing you are looking for changeless. And in the changeless, you are oblivious of it. You ignore it. You take it for granted and keep on transacting. So it is called atasmin tad buddhi or tasmin atad buddhi. It's all mistaken. That is why, Puji Swamiji always used to say, there is no realization other than realizing a mistake. The word realization can be used effectively only against a mistake. That is exactly what this says. In the sense, in the unchanging, changeless reality that is awareful being the oneness that is covering everything, Isha Vasyam Vidagum Sarvam, you have lost sight of it. Because of that mistake, you are taking the changing reality as me, a name, form, and all associated relationship, activities, achievement, etc., etc. It's all going to change. What is achieved today, it is only 5 minutes. Swamiji always used to say, any new, anything, sorry, a pleasurable moment cannot last more than 5 minutes. Even if you take a Mercedes Benz, a lot of mehnat, after 15, 10 years of savings, you have been able to get a Mercedes Benz. When you take it out of the car, even before registration, when you go on the road, you are worried whether there is going to be any scratch, or your daughter or son will be sitting near, no father, this upholstery has to be changed. Immediately, all the pleasure of owning a Mercedes Benz is lost in the next 5 minutes. So that is the changing reality. That is it. It is nothing wrong in that. You can still do that, but you must not lose your heart to it. It is basically because of the identification with the changing reality and still wanting to be changeless. It is it is an impossible thing. How can you identify yourself with the changing reality and want to be changeless? Because you want anything, the idea is I want to reach a stage where I will not be able to say I want. That means what? Free of want, complete freedom. What they say, no, 100% absolute freedom, 100%, 100 degrees of freedom. That is what everyone looks for. That means it is, unless there are two possibilities. One is either your reality is changeless. That is why your innate nature, he wants to be the changeless absolute, or you have to be satisfied with the changing reality, and that should you should be satisfied. You should be content as long as you live a dharmic life. You should be content. Here we have most of the people who have done all the viveka, dharma, and adharma, what is changing and not changing. All the people, sane thinking people, have definitely, all universally, people think that what is eluding me is the changeless completeness, being happy all the time, peace all the time. That doesn't, it eludes me, irrespective of how I live, dharmic, adharmic, whatever it is. So having come to that, by inquiry, by self-inquiry, it should be, it should be self-driven. It is not because someone else is sitting and teaching. No, if you look at all the Vedas and Shastras, it's all people have done all these things. Pariksha Lokam, that is a beautiful, that sloka, very defining sloka in Mundaka. Pariksha Lokan Karma Chitan. In the sense, having done, Pariksha means examining. Karma Chitan, fellow who has sincerely done all the karmas. Pariksha Lokan Karma Chitan. Nirveda Mayat Brahma. He finds, no, I am not able to put the finger on the pie. I am not have that completeness in me. That is why he had come. That is why I keep on referring to that thing. Having come, when this Shastra talks about the first sentence tells Isha Vasyam Midagum Sarvam Et Kincha Jagatyam Jagat, you must have that Shraddha to approach it to the what Acharya's words, and we should not get distracted. Okay, there may be some Acharyas, some no history might be there that no, this is also part of karma and all that. But the word, the sentence itself makes it very clear. There is no karma in this particular sentence. Isha Vashyam Midagum Sarvam Et Kincha Jagatyam Jagat. Actually, if you say Et Kincha Jagatyam Jagat, no, it's almost like it is got a very nonchalant way of ignoring Et Kincha Jagatyam Jagat. Having done that, now, okay, Isha Vashyam Idagum Sarvam, I am the awareness being. If that Shraddha is Purnam in me, now, what do I do? So, and then the question will be again, what do I do? So, immediately in the same sloka, same verse, next sentence it says, Tena Tektena Bunjita Magrutaha Kasya Sviddanam. Tena Tektena Bunjita. Tena Tektena is one word. In the sense, it is, you cannot have one different way of treatment for Tena, Tektena Bunjita, Tektena Bunjita. Both cannot have a different treatment. So you have to look at that as a compound. Tektena Bunjita. Bunjita meaning, Tektena means what? Whatever, what you call the wrong identification you had with the Jagadhyam Jagat, Tektena. What sort of identification I will have? I will have identification, this is my wealth. This first is I. This is my, this is me. And this is my house. This is my putra. This is my bharya or husband, wife, or whatever. And these are all my people. And these are all mine. Me, I, me, myself, and then Mahyam, mine, all those things. That sort of an identification, Tektena, because that it has not blessed you all along. You have to still deal with them, transact with them, but don't identify. So it's all cognitive. Cognitive, not from the head, but from the heart. In the sense, once you have understood, it has to be percolate your life. It is called living the learning. That should be the way. No, you should not look at, no, I know, I've read all these things many times, I know what it means. Yeah, correct. Yeah, it should not have any identification. No, that is not. You must, the next moment when you step out, you must be able to, what do you call, one of this is a blessing. No, we are looking for something. And the Shastra says, Isha Vashyam Idagum Sarvam, Et Kincha Jagatyam Jagat, Tena Tektena. Tektena means, okay, now I will not identify henceforth. I will, okay, what immediately you cannot do. What you have to have a distance. Swamiji always to say, and Shastra always says, the space. You must have that space. I am the awareness being. These are all changing realities of my life. You have to deal with it, but all the time retain that space. I am the awareness being. I am the awareness being. That retain, we must retaining that viveka, the discrimination. Tektena, that is called Tektena. Bunjita. Bunjita means obviously Tektena. You can't disidentify with something and then you cannot enjoy it. That it is contradictory, oxymoron. So tena bunjita. Bunjita means what? Enjoy, or palayita means what is the truth? The truth is Ishavasyam. That truth from now on you will cherish. You will nourish. That is what it means, bunjita. Tena tektena bunjita, meaning leaving alone the identification, get hooked or be in one with the reality of the being, awareful being. Tena tektena bunjitaha magritaha kasya sviddanam. Magritaha meaning, obviously magritaha, the meaning is don't covet others' wealth. Here, others' wealth means what? What it means is everything, even the Isha Vasyam Idagum Sarvam, and what you are not supposed to identify, you already cleared with. Even identifying with your own name and fame and wealth and other things will become coveting others' wealth, because it is not yours in the first place. You have identified because of the society, a samskara, whatever you call it. Right from beginning, you have been given a name. You that is as if it is your swikara. my surname, I belong to this family, this gotra, etc., etc. It has been drilled into you for the convenience of the society. Okay, it is not, as I was telling, as a child, I am one with the total. I am even for my identifying with my name, the parents have to struggle for me to one up that name. So where is the question of owning up anything else? So nothing is mine. That is what it means. Magritaha. In the sense, whether it is yours, there is nothing called yours, nothing called others. All of them have to be Magritaha. Don't have any sort of greed towards them. Kasya Svidhanam. Question tag. Kasya Svidhanam means it is not asking any fair question. It says Kasya Svidhanam. Question tag means English people know. It is in the sense the answer is no, you cannot. You can. Kasya Svidhanam Swikaranam. Swikaranam meaning making it, thinking it's all mine, and start always transacting with the view that it is mine. It has something to do, something to make me uplifted in society, in my family, or in terms of wealth, in terms of fame, etc., etc. That's sort of a swikaranam of all those things which you are not supposed to identify with. Please have that, take it out of your conscious. Magritaha kasya siddhanam. So very, in the sense, it doesn't not even tells where you have to one up, where you have to claim your reality, and what is unreal has to be put in place. That's all. We don't have to do anything. You have to have that cognitive understanding, and in a sense, because irrespective of whatever is happening around, you want to be full, right? It is not that you are going to live in an empty world and want to be complete and happy. You want to live around people and still be happy. No, even in a child generally, if you look at the psychology of a child, the child wants a full house always. When it is full house and it's able to do its own small thing, it's happy. If the house becomes empty, then it gets scared. In the same way, we as the being, we are complete in harness with the whole thing. At the same time, we want to have that space, that fullness in us, irrespective of what is happening around. So here also what it says is, and it says tena tektena bunjita magrutaha kasya siddhanam, have that cognitive understanding, and also in your heart you have retained this oneness and retain this space and deal with the world daily afresh. And of course there are plenty of things in the Shastra which talks about the whole thing is what is reality is only now, and everything, the causality which we are talking about, creation and all that, is all in time and space. And the time, the unit of time is now, which has no unit. Unit of space is endless. Space looks at it is endless. It doesn't have any unit. So both time and space does not have any unit. That means both are limitless. Whereas by having a mental framework about time and the past, present, and future, only we are calling it as causality, and there is some there is no, we always feel that there is a world outside and all that. Even if you look at simply, if you look at what you say is outside, what you see is only light. Light is your being lights up the mind lights up the light. Suppose the mind is elsewhere, even with all the shining light, you won't be able to see light. That means what? The light itself is of the is lit by the mind, and the mind is lit by the being. So what we essentially see is only light, but we say we see objects. We don't see objects, we see light that comes back from the objects. So the object, why we call it object? Because we have given a name. We have given a name for a table different from chair. So okay, there are two. So okay, it can be useful for transaction, but name is not the reality. Light is the reality. The small example. Likewise, if you look at even fragrance, everything, like even light and the eyes is only an example, kolakshana. Whereas even fragrance, what is fragrance? Well, there is an olfactory nerves, a lot of nerves are there in the order, and the light of the being only helps us to know, yeah, these are all olfactory nerves, this, the science, whatever it is. Even that understanding comes by the light of our being, and we give it a name. Oh, this is this fragrance, that fragrance, and we differentiate and deal with. Okay, differentiating and dealing with is fine, but saying that this is good, that is bad, that is again our projection. So the whole, no, the every panchabhuta and its the five senses, sense perceptions, and what it brings in, are all, no, are all nothing but names and forms. That is what Shastra says Vacharambanam Vikaro Namudeyam. Even though the Taittiriya Upanishad talks about as if something is born, something is sustained, something is gone. If you look at it, everything is only name and form. That is why they say even this second sutra of Brahma Sutra, what you call Janmadhyasya Taha, has to be studied along with the Prakriti Sutra of the second chapter, which says Tat Ananyatvam Arambana Sabdadibhyaha. Tad Ananyatvam. What that Ananyatvam is? That Ishavasya. Ishavasya, Tad nothing is separate. Tad Ananyatvam Arambana is all Arambana Sabdadibhyaha means what? Everything is name and form given by you. You have done the identification and you get attached to it. So nothing is born, nothing is gone. Everything is has to be even though for you to transact in the world, to grow up to this stage, come to this Shastra, you need all that. That is why Shastra, for you to live a sane life, it says everything is from Bhagavan, Yato Vacho Nivartante, and what do you call, no? Janmatyasya Taha, from which everything is born, everything is sustained, everything goes into. There is a reverence into it. Ishvara, you can call it. And you, so that there again, you don't try to hog. You don't think that it's all yours. Swamiji always used to say as a relative understanding. From Ishvara, everything has come. You be a devotee. First, discover the devotee in you. Everything that has been you transact is all given. Given means what? Given means there is a giver, that is definite. And given means you are not that. Because given to you, even in English language, given means, given to you means you are not that given. What are you then? That is what you have to discover. But till the time given, you be a managing trustee of what is given to you. Generally, what somebody gives to you something and asks you to take care, what will you do? You will take care. Even take better care of that than what is yours, because you have that sense of responsibility to what is given. Likewise, we have to look at our life. Everything is given. Swamiji always to say everything is given. Given means what? If you are not that, immediate understanding should be even in the English language. You are not that. Your body is given, mind is given, senses are given. Even your sense of pride, no, Agankara is given for a certain purpose. For what? Maybe to have some enthusiasm, motivation to do things better. That's all. But everything is given. Given to whom? I, the being, the awareful being. For that, even Ishvara does not have to come and tell that you are. You are, you know. That is why you are even talking about Ishvara. You are propitiating Ishvara because you are. So that you are part of that. Is why the Shastra and Tattvamasi, thou art is given. The Shastra doesn't explain. Tat alone it explains. Whatever you think that is other than you, that is you are. Tattvamasi. You are meaning you are predicated as Tat. The Tat is explained as not separate from you. Tad ananyatvam arambana sabdadibhyaha. So Shastra, if you look at it, the Purvapara, meaning what is told before and what is told later, and tie it up all properly, there is no contradiction. There is no validity of the creation other than Etkincha Jagatyam Jagat. So beautifully put in one half sloka, Ishavashyam tells. That is why they say, no, this is the grandmother of Bhagavad Gita. 18 chapters are given equivalent to 18 verses in Ishavasya Upanishad. The first chapter talks about entire second chapter of Bhagavan. Bhagavan takes so much verses, 20 verses to explain to Arjuna that the same thing, that you are the being, changeless, everything is changing. So you should not be worrying about changing, will always change. You should not worry about changeless is changeless, and that is you. Again, there is nothing to worry about. That is why he says asochan anvasochastvam. So you are unnecessarily worrying about things are, because changing will always change. Bodies will come, bodies will go. Even body, you can't call it an entity. We think that it is an entity. Just because a sense of touch runs through all the epidermis, we think that body is a unit entity. No, everything, all your eyes, ears, and all are connected. The breath, that is what when you the air that is outside, once it comes inside, you call it breath. And the food that is outside, outside is called idli. Once it comes, it becomes you. So it's all funny, way of, we have been used to doing things. Maybe there is some reason for all these things. But when we analyze, there is no really that Panchabhudam outside and Panchabhudam inside, that I am a body different from other body, nothing. Only sense of touch. runs through the body. So it looks like a unit package. Whereas your eyes is always outside. Ears are always outside. Hearing is always outside. So everything is outside. It's all fully connected. That is why, the long back, when Indian Express used to have a famous statement by Goenka, who himself was a great, what you call, Sastrakara. Goenka used to say, the truth involves all. That is his famous statement, Indian Express statement. So means what? The truth is all, that all is also a upachara. There is no all. There is one being, and looks at available to us as all. So the only way you can enjoy this all is looking at as a wonder. It's an ascharya. It's a beauty. It's a glory of this being. It is available in so many multifarious ways, and that is why then we can enjoy it. That is why, Shastra, so many places, even Gita Acharya says, life has to be lived as wonder, not as something good for me, bad for me. There is no opposites in that. There is only wonder. There is only ascharya. So that is what this particular, what do you call it? This particular first mantra of Ishavashyam says, Ishavashyam Vidakum Sarvam Et Kincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tektena Bunjita. Nourish this understanding. Don't leave it. Tena Tektena Bunjitaha Magrataha Kasyadam. Don't have to really identify with anything. Everything is a phenomenon. You are only the nominal. Phenomenon means there is hunger, there is food available, there is thirst, there is water available. Everything is beautifully done. The sense all are kept in good combination. So you don't have to feel identified. Then only I will be able to know. All of us live in its as a phenomenon, as a prakriti, and in Ishvara Sannidhanam. The Ishvara is nothing but Ishavasyam Vidagum Sam. There is one being takes care of the multifarious things that are happening. And Swamiji used to elaborate as niyati, order, everything, order, psychological order, physiological order, karma order, material order, science, even science. There is nothing, matter and energy, both are interchangeable, and there is no loss of matter, conservation of matter and energy. It's all stipulated. Only that they couldn't put, because for them, everything has to be empirically proven. The sense there has to be an experiment, there has to be a conclusion. And fortunately or unfortunately, the niyati, the empiricality is always there, the predictability is there, the reproducibility is there in everything within a paradigm. So we think that is Shastra. The empiricality, the predictability is only within a paradigm. Once you remove the time and space paradigm, then the whole, once and time and space becomes relative, Newton's laws goes for 6, and Einstein's laws come in. And Einstein's laws also, now they have said universe is a self-aware universe. There is no creation, and every molecule has its own rules written. That means there is no real creation as such. Everything is then apne aap kaisa ho sakta hai? There has to be an Ishvara. No, the awareful being is there. That is what Shastra says. The awareful being. It is not an Ishvara sitting somewhere in heaven and creating, doing all these things. Then it begs such question. Before if he has to create, and if he has to have a place separate, then that place was rated by whom? This sort of a reductio ad absurdum questions will come. So that is why these theologies cannot take root in a human heart, because they cannot. This is the only way a human heart can empathize is that Ishavashyam Vidagum Sarvam. That is the wise words of the Shastra. That is what we should we understand from the Sacharyas, and we should contemplate on that, and make ourselves blessed and live a sane life outside. Okay, now this is the jnana part of it. Quickly, I have some time, right? 10 minutes. Okay. See, the problem is the second verse is Kurvan neva iha karmani jijivite sadagam samaha evam tvayi na anyatosti na karma lipyate nare. This is the second verse. Okay, what it says is essentially till the time you understand the import of this first verse, that you are Ishavashyam Vidagum Sarvam, because that completes life. So, but till the time you understand, you have come to the Shastra. Shastra will help you how you do Kurvaneva iha karmani. Whatever now you are doing, it to be done. Okay, now you know very well. You have already done that pariksha lokan karma chitan. So you don't have your heart is in understanding this oneness through Shastra, but you have to navigate your life. So kurvanneva iha karmani. Just keep doing as to be done karma, not as I do karma. I have to be, I am responsible for that. That is why, in Gita, karmanyeva adhikarahate ma paleshu kadachana. Don't put too much of heart and emphasis in your pala. Pala meaning, pala is always in the future. And the future is a fictive. Future is a mystery. Past is history. Presence alone is the only reality. So, if at all there is any adhikara, it is only in the presence. In the presence, what? Only karma. To that extent, you foresee certain things. With reference to that, you plan and do. And within the, when you do the karma properly, to be done karma with all the heart, then the result is already obtained. The pala is that you have done the karma properly. That is a pala. That is what is inherent in the karma, is what is the only thing that is your adhikara. That is what Bhagavan says. Karmanyeva adhikarahate ma paleshu kadachana ma karma pala hetu buhu. Means don't, no, I am responsible for that, so I have to always keep in view the pala that is going to happen. No, if you look at the niyati, as I was telling, everything is changing. What you think is food, that yesterday it becomes poison today. Swamiji always used to say, some years back, what people used to say, ghee is dangerous for cholesterol. Today people say, the same science says ghee is good. And some people used to say coconut is bad. Today they say lauric acid is the best thing. So it is all, either in our understanding keeps on changing, or all the order itself changing because of all the microbes and the whatever ecological changes. Those all have. So everything is changing. Change is the only reality. So don't lose your heart into it. So, and don't look for what is going to happen very as a pala and all that. So in the niyati, in the phenomenon, everything is in place. It will all happen. You have to be doing something till the time you understand this completely, own it up. Even after owning it up, you have to still do some karma, like you have to eat, you have to sleep and all that. So kurvanneva eha karmani jijiviche sadakum samaha. Why that jijiviche sadakum samaha? Why it is told? Because we have got that abhilasha. We want to live because you think that I am living. So the problem is this, I and the total, and I am living, I am a separate person. So I think I am living. If I know very well that I am the awareful being, where is the question of not living? Why you have to say 1,000 years? So let it be 1,000 years, let it be million years. Awareful being is awareful being. It is not a thing. It is not having a name or form. Does not have limbs. It is a being. So the being not being there is an oxymoron again. It cannot be. So for a person who has understood, Jiji Vichet Sadagum Samaha will not be there in his horizon of thinking. You will never think, I have to live for 100 years. But here, the verse says, Jiji Vichet Sadagum Samaha, even if you want to live 100 years, Kurvan Neva Eha Karma. It makes it very clear. That means you have not yet understood. For that sort of a person who got an abhilasha to understand the oneness, till the time you understand, karma yoga, in the sense, kurvan neva eha karmani. Don't associate yourself saying that I am the karta. Yeah, I have to do, to be done. To be done. That is why it is in passive voice. Kurvan neva ehi karmani. Just to be done, I do. In Tamil, what I used to say, undanadai chai. Just do whatever you can in life. Kurvan neva karmani, jijivite sadakum samaha. Evam tvayi nare, evam tvayi nare. This is actually this evam tvayi nare is the subject to whom both the first and the second verse are addressed. In the first verse, actually, it was a philosophy, it is a Shastra Pradigna statement. That is why there was no address to anyone. Isha Vashyam Idagam Sarvam. Here it says, Evam Tvayi Nare Nare. Hello, who thinks that you are separate? Evam Tvayi for you, na anyato asti, na karma palayan lipyate. Na anyato asti meaning there is no other way. You have already examined and found that the karma, whatever you have been good or bad and all that, does not really bless you. So for such a person, na anyato asti, you have to be doing, till the time you understand, you have to be doing what is to be done. There is no other way. Na anyato asti. And na karma lipyate, meaning if you don't do it that way, that I am doing what is to be done. Instead of that, if you identify and do, you will definitely get buffeted by karma pala. Lipyate meaning so like a lehium, like a oil, it will stick to you. Karma pala will stick to you. Karma pala avasyam bhavi, Shastra also says. If you think that I am doing, you will have to bear the brunt of the pala when it comes back to you. So you don't, at least let you make a start. Don't identify, do things. Kurvanneva ha karmani. Here again, this sort of a karma yoga attitude, this is called karma yoga. It's not called karma. Karma is yoga, proper attitude. What? Kurvanneva ha karmani. It's all to be done. That sort of a very reverential attitude towards karma. If you do it, kurvanneva ha karmani jijivishe sadakam sama, even if you live for 100 years, evam tvayi nare, there is no other way, na anyato asti, na karma lipyate. If you don't do it this way, you will get buffeted. Then don't, you come to the Shastra is telling this, and you have to have a Shraddha, as I have told you, you have to have a Shraddha and the truth, because that is what you are seeking. It is no choice also. Every one of us want to have that freedom, that oneness with the happiness and lack of want is what we want to. We don't want to be wanting endlessly. We think that fulfilling some wants will become wantless. It doesn't happen. So the only way is the wantless has to be your nature. That you have to understand by Isavasyam Idagam Sarvam. So these statements and Gita, everything, no, it's all corroborates so nicely. And there also it says, Karmanyeva adhikaraha te ma palesh kadachana ma karma pala hetu buhu ma te sangosto karmani. Till the time you understand, you have to mate sangosto akarmani. I won't be doing anything, I'll just sit tight. No, it doesn't happen, because inside it will still be going on. You have to sort it out inside. For that, you have to be doing some karma. At least if you do some good karma, helpful karma to others, your horizon will expand. By doing, that is what they say, no? By giving, you become bigger than what you give. The dhanam, it is not because you are doing some charity. Swamiji always says, everything is given. Where is the question of charity? It goes from this packet to that packet. It's all in Ishvara's domain. So don't have that funny idea. But giving, the idea of giving is, it makes you bigger than what you have. If you have 1,000 rupees, if you give that 1,000 rupees, you become bigger than the 1,000 rupees. If you have 1,000 rupees and you give 1 rupee, you are only 1 rupee your value, because balance 99 is only for security. It goes for security. One is what is you have got the freedom to give. That means your value is only 1, not 1,000. So that is why that these are all the ways you have to live. Kuruvanneva karma nimini. You be bigger than what you are, what you think you are. By doing that sort of an attitude, you will slowly bigger than your circle will enhance, your mind will become, and then you will be able to own up this oneness. Isha Vasyam Idagum Sarvam will be possible even as an attitude by giving, by living a Kurvanneva he karmani. So that Shastra says, when you live also, till the time you understand your in your heart that Isha Vasyam Idagum Sarvam, live a life of karma yoga. That will take you slowly and steadily. You will have that peace of mind. Your Shraddha for Shravanam, looking at the Shastra, inquiring it from the heart, not for just to say that I know Vedanta and I have ticked off, I have done this Upanishad, that Upanishad, and all that. No, it has to be lived. Every moment you have to live. So make it yours by living a life of karma yoga and understanding simultaneously Isha Vasyam Idagam Sarvam. That is how I got the understanding from the listening to the acharyas, from Puja Swamiji and others. I have shared it with you. I hope it makes sense to you in your life. What I should do?
So if any,
you should mute.
Yeah, no. Anybody has questions?
Audio was okay, no? No questions are coming. Hello? Any questions? So silent. It is. So, but went through, no? Yes. Hello. Since there are no questions, I am taking leave of you with this prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Shall I close? Leave.
Thank you, Swamiji. Thank
But they're
you.
all saying thank you now. But I'm not able to tell them.